Good morning, everyone. This is Panda. So let me tell you a YouTube story, so you have a better understanding why. I've been using YouTube since like 2005, 2006, and originally I had gaming videos, how to build gaming laptops, how to build gaming desktops, how to water cool them. And the funny thing is that I remember where I never appeared on screen sometimes. Most of the time, I never appear on screen. The only thing you have saw was my hands. So people made some assumptions back in the day. They weren't bad assumptions. They were actually pretty good assumptions. The fact that my YouTube channel started when I was back in Osaka. That's why everyone's like, you transitioned your YouTube channel from Japan to the United States now. What's going on? Like, how is your channel going to differentiate itself from the others? And this was a thing with YouTube back in the day too, back in 2006. That YouTube, back then, didn't have any stupid regulations, these policies. They did have some guidelines. They did have a policy to try to keep it clean, because it was broadcast us for us, and that was the slogan back then with YouTube. But I remember where my content was never in English, and well, partially was English, but a lot of my Japanese viewers that I don't see on this channel is still on my old channel. If you watch my old channel, it's basically about gaming, computers, science, and medicine, and all that little fun stuff. Playing with certain MOSFETs, and it was like, not playing with MOSFETs, preparing MOSFETs on custom motherboards. But I notice now that my channel, if I will stop appearing on screen, people will want to have the interest of seeing my face again. It's not that, like, you guys get what I'm saying, correct? What I'm trying to apply, good morning, hello everyone. What I'm trying to apply here is that, and the reason why I also brought this up, because I'm literally sitting here, right? And I'm literally sitting here, and people are just staring as they walk in, and I was like, and that's what caught my attention. Like, my processing in my brain was like, remember back in the day, Panda, when people didn't look at you the way they look at you now? You never used to appear on YouTube videos. You used to always have your hands out, and you were curious. And then we sometimes see your Asian roommates, and it was like, what happened to that beginning of YouTube, when YouTube only had max resolution was 360 at the time, then it upgraded to 480, then they had like, at one point they had like 520, something like that. I was pretty weird about that. And then they scratched that and put 720, which was a better high resolution at the time. It was probably the best resolution at that time, between 2005 and 2010. It was probably the best. And then 1080p came along, and then people started uploading 1080p, even though 1080p has been out for quite the longest time that I can recall, since digital photography has been out since the 90s. But YouTube had a lot to catch up on when it came out to the practices on how to please an audience, and we were the audience. Keep that in mind. There's no difference from US and Europe. It's exactly the same thing in terms of the real life. I think is the reason because I only knew US from movies. Don't believe the movies. This is why, okay, I'm gonna stop talking about YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Timeline is 5:08. I'm gonna stop talking about it to respond to Log's question. And there is differences, friend, but when it comes down to policies and government, there's no difference. There's no difference. So now back at timeline 533, back to the YouTube story. So basically, back then I was only uploading 480p, 720p, and if you go to one of my YouTube channels, it's called PC Hardware Custom PC. Yeah, I did, guys. Literally, I don't know if YouTube deleted the videos or not, but one time my video channel got hacked, and when I started this channel, because I have 2 other channels, and I paid no attention to it. I was like, oh, I don't care about those videos anymore. No one watched those anyway. No one cares about them. No one's ever gonna watch those old videos ever again, because it's not an interest right now. And back then, those hardware for the hardware parts, the video cards, the graphic cards, and guys, remember, I used to play around with software. And remember, I was the one that built that hybrid software for having an NVIDIA card and an AMD card. Actually, there were many out there. People were trying to make softwares, which they were working, but mine was the best one because it was actually stable. And you can literally have a NVIDIA card as a physics driver and have your AMD card as your main primary driver. So, and yeah, it was a little, back then, what was it? That was like 2008, 2009, right? Back then, you know, gaming was big. This is when gaming leagues started coming out. Because now they saw that as an action sport. Remember that, guys? When gaming became an action sport, but not rollerblading. I'm so bizarre. As a rollerblader, I'm so confused by that decision. But yes, it is an action sport because it has a lot to do with brain capacity, thinking, logical planning, strategizing. It is action, it is planning, it's physically, yeah. Guys, when I'm game, sometimes when I'm in a ranked game, which if you guys don't play rank in your games, which means that you're a really good player when you play rank. Okay, always play a rank in your first-person shooter games because that makes a name for you. And I say this because I used to have a name for myself because I used to always get my kills in teabag all the time. And I got bad. Now, Zeus, that plays Apex, now is doing that. But he only does it to TTTV, and they deserve it. I'm sorry, but like TTTV, but some of you guys are just a bunch of knuckleheads, man. You guys are just worst bad players sometimes. I play with you guys abandon your teammates, and like, you guys deserve to get teabagged. But with that said, everyone, I'm the Panda Photographer, everybody. And on this channel, what we would normally do without the homelessness, without the drama, the problems, I focus on gaming, photography, videography, technology, development, coding. I used to do that. Now I don't even do it anymore. Why? I just don't. Okay, here's the thing. I think I developed a disorder, and this is why my friends are saying like, yeah. Even Yuki is saying that maybe I should calm it down a little bit. You're trying to do too many things at one time. Maybe this is why you're fucking up in some places. Excuse the language. But yeah, I'm doing too many things, and I was doing too many things at one time. See, when I started my photography back in, well, technically I've been shooting photography since I was 12. But the problem is, when I uploaded content for the photography, which is the rollerblading part, back in the day on YouTube, it was so easy not to get demonetized because we had a right to choose music based on how we feel when we are interacting with a sport. YouTube and record companies and artists, I understand you guys have to make your money, right? But you could have worked out a better plan for us to use your music that gives us inspiration when we are in the act of doing a sport. And that's when I started to notice YouTube is becoming more commercialized, and this is 2010 now, commercialized. It's becoming more stricter with the rules and the policies. And now we have guidelines that give us YouTubers more time to think about our video compositions and our plans and scratch plans. Now we have to like scratch this project and make up a new project because these new policy comes in place. This was what was going on back in the day in YouTube land. And I believe society decided now, this is 2022, this is YouTube. Society let YouTube become so corporate. How am I going to say this word? Corporate utilization. That's how I'm going to categorize that word. Corporate utilization. YouTube is not run by the people anymore. It's run by corporates, companies. That's why I call it corporate utilization, because everybody wants a piece of YouTube now. And I, as a former YouTuber, well, still a YouTuber, a former tech reviewer, I feel like, and I still kind of do tech reviews, but on the photography side of things. And I know, guys, this is the thing. Between 2012 and 2014, before my accident in Japan, you guys never complained about how formal I was when provided that information, when providing you guys with information about a product. I gave you guys statistics, math, showing you guys data, showing you guys schematics or test results. Now you guys complain about it, saying, "Oh, it's too long. It's not. I can't need to see the end results. How is the quality of the images?" And as a photographer standpoint, everybody, you have to understand that it's not about the image quality. It's also about the performance of that product. Is it going to be a long-term situation where you have to rely on that product all the time? It's not about the image quality, friends. It's all about the mechanisms, the quality, the functionalities, how, yes, I'm near a subway. So I do apologize for the noise. But this is New York City. It's loud, it's obnoxious. Yeah, New York City is the most loudest city other than LA, in my opinion. I trust, if you walk down the street, you have an audio receiver or audio device, check the dB levels, and you can be like, "Oh my God, why is New York City at 120 decibels?" That's pretty high. And the average decibel, yeah, it's very high. New York City it's a very loud city, so keep that in mind. And we contribute to it, walking, stepping, talking. That makes vibrations, noise. But cars, right? Yeah. But anyway, back to the YouTube thing. So, and that's how I was saying, like, you guys never complained about me making those really good videos, and now when I make these videos, no one wants to watch it anymore. No one wants to watch my tutorials anymore. It's like, and then when I do make the tutorials, it's a hit and miss based on category. And what I mean by category, it seems like a lot of you guys are online perverts. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I know you guys like beauty. Men, you guys like beauty. Women, you like beauty, and you like handsomeness. But I notice on YouTube as photographers, more people are drawn to women portraits and not men. And which is like, I'm like, guys, I kind of want to do men, women, children, animals. Come on. And sometimes that doesn't please you. You guys like to see only women. And I see you guys in the comments when I go to my other fellow photographer YouTube channels like Photo EI, David, or like not David Ocean, because well, David Ocean has some very beautiful women back in Australia, but you know what I'm talking about, you guys. You guys want to. You guys are such bad viewers, naughty viewers. And I'm reading the comments on their channel. I'm like, wow, so that's what everyone's interested in on YouTube now. It's not about concept of illustrating and educating anymore. It's about, ooh, look at her. Oh yeah, he's getting dirty with her. Oh yeah. Guys, anyone could be your subject in a portrait. It's all about execution. You can make it look good. Come on, I make homeless people look good when I'm taking their portraits. When I'm doing those headshots. Come on, guys. That's the see, and that's the thing. A lot of you are not interested in the depth of real storytelling. You gotta understand and distinguish on YouTube what kind of content that does please you. And this is the thing about my channel. And yes, I'm about to talk about my channel right now. What is going on? Oh my panda, people cannot drive in New York City. Okay, so let's check these comments. This guy is rapping it over here about English or Americans are more open-minded than the French, and you really think the Americans are open-minded? No offense, guys. Don't take this personally, but I don't think you're open-minded. As a French native, as an EU passport holder, you know, I don't think so. As someone that grew up in Japan and was raised in Canada and back and forth, I don't think so, man. This is why I always say to people in the States, you guys should have an open mind about a lot of things, especially in New York City. Especially in New York City. Oh my panda, I cannot emphasize how many times I have said this since we've been here. So, vlog, please pay attention to my content. But anyway, we French have a very open-minded fascination of how to treat people kindly. And that's what I get my, and this is, see, and you know what? That's a good example. This is why Eto said, this is why I have my mother's traits. She was too kind, too nice. And like you French, you always want to be kind and nice, and you know how to, yeah. I got my mother's traits. So yeah, a habit just passed on to another child of a habit. And that's not a bad habit, but it is a bad habit because you run into some problems when you overdo it and you get caught up. I don't think so, friend. I'm sorry. I don't think Americans are that open. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not saying that, but I don't think so. Because look what's going on here in the nation. Look what's going on. Just take a good look at what is consuming our streets. Look what's happened to our children. Gun violence towards our children. Is that an open opinion? Or open-minded? No, it's not. Open-minded is when I can go back to Denmark and not worry about gun violence. I'm going to go back to the Netherlands and not think about gun violence. What? But I come back to the States, right? And I have to think about the gun violence. See? And this is where I can't have an open mind and an opinion here, because people want to contest. People want to make an assumption that I'm wrong, but they never lived my life. So now, since you guys don't want to hear my side of the story, I have to demonstrate it by making these videos so you can see it for yourself. And guys, can you literally tell me that New York City is open-minded? Because a lot of you are saying like New York City is not open-minded. This guy here is saying that he thinks Americans are open-minded. And I'm telling him, not in the sense that you believe, because like you just said, you watch too many American movies, friend. You said it yourself in your own comment. You watch too many American movies. Do not believe the movies, friend. It's like, just like you believe in the last movie of the Fast and the Furious, and you think every stunt into that shit is real. Okay, let me make a good example as a filmmaker that is houseless right now. Let me make a good example. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. The scene where they are drifting through Shibuya Square in Tokyo, that would never, ever, ever in your entire life, in history, the Japanese government doesn't care how much money you have just to pull that stunt there. They would never allow you to do it there. I know that because I lived in Japan for so long. And that never would happen. And I knew, they're like, what? When I first saw it, I was like, this movie is a gimmick. This is a joke. They just playing around. Exactly my point. Don't believe everything you see on television, ladies and gentlemen, or in the movies. You have to come here for yourself to realize it yourself. Now, some aspects of content inside those movies is accurate, like buildings, structures, streets, locations. But when it comes down to understanding people, you need to come to the city yourself to experience it and showcase it. This is what I do. I showcase it. In the next city that we're going to go to, we're going to do the exact same thing. We've done it for every city we have gone to. This is why you have to pay attention to the content in full. Because I'm also trying to educate you to understand what you should be aware of, how you should be taking care of yourself, how you should do things the proper way when you are in New York City. Because suggestionally wise, like I said earlier, and a lot of other content, people do not use their smartphones for the right reasons. And this is why I say tourism is a joke here, because people only come here because it's New York City. So, and this is why I say a lot of the tourists, and I told my parents, this is why here's the structure. Let me explain why I'm the way I am. I grew up on two sides of the family, okay? I grew up on that Japanese side, and I grew up with partially my parents' side, right? My mother's side, right? And when I grew up in that Japanese family, they taught me structure. I didn't grow up here as much as I should, and then I had to grow up here later on after the age of maybe 17 to order understand things better. Because as a kid, you don't understand it as well as you understand it as an adult. So the process of me taking my time understanding this city was later on as I got smarter and older. When I was a kid, I just decided to listen to my parents' structure. Guys, if you guys never been to an Asian country or lived in a very structural house, rules are set. You disobey those rules, you could get disowned, which I currently am, disowned by the family. You could be not looked upon on in your neighborhood in some cases. In Japanese culture, in some neighborhoods, they say, "Oh, your international child is a troublemaker," and I used to cause trouble for my parents. This is why I'm saying this, because like when I was causing trouble, I still knew structure. I just went on the rent because I was a foreigner in a different country, and I felt alone. I literally felt alone. So this is why I have my little kid fits. Yes, I call them little kid fits. So, but I'm just telling you guys live, as I'm holding this phone in my hand, how sometimes don't believe what you see on movies. Real life situations. You'll walk down the street, you see someone crying, like, damn. Should I go over there and talk to that person? Yes. Tell that person. In the movies, someone's crying. Let me explain this. In the movies, when someone's crying, they get hooked up. Now they're hooking up. In reality, you don't do that. You're trying to comfort the person, so the emotional status of that person right now and their mental state needs to be elevated. So you're trying to give them comfort by saying, listen, whatever just happened, whatever happened badly, please think about the good things that will happen after. Do you want to talk about it? Just your name is like, listen, you don't know me, I don't know you, but it sucks to see a person weeping in the streets. You don't hook up. Movies, they got a crying girl, and next you know they're hooking up and having sex. That's bullshit. That doesn't happen. That happens in the club. That doesn't happen on the streets in New York City. Come on. So don't believe everything you see. This is why on this channel we try to emphasize documentarian content. This is why YouTube doesn't understand documentarian content, because they know that documentarian content is raw. It's edited, but it's also raw. It's like, okay, we're going to put 85% of this footage and take 50% out. And YouTube doesn't really like that. And as of 2022, before you were able to create, make, establish, put content that makes you feel good about yourself. Now you got to put content that has to make them feel good about themselves and not about you. And that's what makes me get confused about me as an artist. And that's what fucks me up and as an artist. That I got to listen to YouTube to tell me how to feel about my art, my expressions. I got to use their content, their non-copyrighted music, which sometimes it's not even, in my opinion, it's not used in all my content because it's not what I want to use as audio, music wise. Because this is why I said earlier in the video about using artists' music to express your feelings. Because think about it. You got all these commercial ads about headphones. Yes, let's get to headphones, because this is a good example. You got all these commercials talking about emphasizing headphones. Headphones helps you express your music, right? Why can't we do the exact same thing with our art in our editing process? But no, this has to be one of those corporate things that YouTube has to implement and say, like, it's not about users anymore. It's about, this is business. And this is what I'm trying to say to them. Like, okay, if it's about business, why are you not helping me as a photographer, as an artist, as a filmmaker, as a documentarian, as a travel consultant, get business? I thought this is supposed to be a two-way street, friend. I thought we were supposed to be partners, and this is why I used to love YouTube back in the day. Before this YouTube apocalypse, YouTube used to be so good. And this is why I just want to emphasize, like, when I used to make the content, you guys was like, hey man, can you make it more lengthy? You guys used to ask for that. But anyway, Mr. ZR33 is in the house, and I suggest you make interaction trees, invites people with you. Okay, so I need to invest. Okay, so what he's trying to say is that I need to suggest into interactions, live streaming, inviting people to your lives, and I do that by answering your questions. But here's the thing, I used to do that when I had my studio out. Remember that, guys? We used to do that with you. We used to open boxes, gifts, new products, give away stuff. And now, we can't do that right now. And I just want you guys to see how many people look towards this camera and look towards me and like, oh, we never seen you here before, because I don't stay in one place. And this is where all eyes is on me. People are suspicious. People want to know, like, what's this deal? Oh, it's another homeless person. Oh, my panda. Oh, get them out our neighborhoods. So I read a news article about that in this neighborhood. So, and it was from the New York, actually from two newspapers, But I'm gonna just not mention neither to give them credit, but because it's the same kind of information. So I'm just providing it. So during the pandemic, this neighborhood had a spike in homelessness out here on the streets. They used to have camp tents set up on Broadway. I kid you not. Yeah, I swear. I literally saw footage of that as well. So then this neighborhood decided to get together to protest against homeless people in their neighborhoods. So they don't want the homeless people in their neighborhoods or in the near their neighborhood parks, including Central Park. Yes, that includes Central Park. But the neighborhood just realized they can't control Central Park because Central Park is run by the state. And yes, even though taxpayers' money come out, yes, local tax, your local city taxes, like every time you get a check, it goes to the parks. And yes, but things like we can't control who comes into a park that's open to the public, and that is the problem. But you can regulate at some point what people can do on a public sidewalk, like looting, loitering, trespassing, those things. And this is why Portland is so much different than New York City. This is why I love Portland better than New York City. Because Portland, you don't have to, well, technically you do have to deal with that, but in Portland, it's so big and so scattered that you don't have to really deal with neighbors saying, get out my neighborhood. You got neighbors trying to feed you in Portland. That's the difference. And this is the content that I wanted to provide you to, but YouTube doesn't want me to provide the content because they just demonetized this video. They demonetized yesterday's morning's video, by the way. We said nothing wrong in that video. We were just talking about how people want free work, and they demonetized it. As I said, and I will screenshot it for you and put it in the community post. But I remember YouTube being such a really good platform where I was uploading some dope content, some dope gameplay. I was actually uploading what I like to call music videos or gaming, when I would choose a track and then I would, especially Battlefield. Oh yes, Battlefield, yes. Oh my panda, so good at that game, and people used to love those ads, and now you can't even do that anymore. You can't do that on YouTube anymore. You cannot make a music video ad unless you get permission and rights, and you got to split profit. Yes, I would love to split profit with the artists, but the way the profits or commissions or monetization is working, it is split up 5 different ways, and it does not make sense. And YouTube takes 30%. It's like, what? Like, Facebook doesn't even take 30%. They take your information. They actually do take 30%. They take your information. Yeah. So let me take that statement back. Oh my man, I was about to make a mistake and play Facebook. Oh my panda, am I a Zuckerberg fan or secretly? I don't know. But anyway, friends, I used to be a big fan of video gaming like you, Panda. I used to make them, as I said. I'm not feeling very... Okay, so guys, the reason for this video is to try to tell you a story about YouTube and how YouTube used to be amazing. But you didn't have to like worry that YouTube's going to demonetize a video. Now you just got to worry about YouTube demonetizing your video because of one word you said, which is basically stepping on my human rights and saying that I don't have a right to explain or express freedom of speech or give a personal review or have an open mind to express what has been taking place. YouTube is trying to shut that down. And you guys just don't realize it, but some of you YouTubers that are famous and big, you guys are not realizing, if you guys do realize it, that's why I think that's my problem. I don't like authority that literally changes the rules all the time, which sucks. It doesn't make sense that the rules keep changing all the time on the platform, when it should not be changed all the time on the platform. I think that my YouTube days are numbered, just like my life is numbered. When I was 10, I had a good childhood and a bad one. When I was 20, I started growing up, started realizing a couple of things. When I was 30, I was already married twice. And had a child. Oh my God. And now that I'm 40, about to turn 42 in 2 months from now, it just makes me think that, like, did I peak a long time ago and now I'm declining downhill? Am I literally in a spiral phase where I didn't do there's something that I didn't do to catch up with times? Because, like, I don't understand. Like, as I said, times are getting rougher for a lot of people. And I want also the homeless. Like, if you're homeless, I want you to understand something. If you do not, it doesn't matter if you have an education or not. If you are not able, let's put it this way, if you're not able to do what your boss wants you to do, and let me tell you right now, there's a lot of cases right now where a lot of EEOCs are being filed as of 2022. A lot of people are quitting jobs, a lot of people are filing complaints against their employers because of abuse at the workplace. We don't need that right now. And that's what's going on today in some cities, not just New York, but all over. People in general expect someone like, let's say this gentleman here makes $35 an hour, okay? He works 5 days a week, but he works from 9 to 9, okay? He gets a great salary, right? Boom. But let's say the pandemic hit, he lost everything, right? And he's just trying to recover, get back on track. Here's the issue with people, and this is open-minded opinion, and I understand this. Guys, you cannot expect someone with a law degree to go work at a Burger King joint. You can't expect that to happen. Because you know why? Because why would you want to flip burgers when there might be an opportunity if you continue to look for that opportunity, it will come. You just got to keep finding it. And I know it's a job, but someone that works $25 an hour, $20 an hour, drop down to $8.75 an hour, you basically are just being, in my opinion, you're working for pennies on a dollar. Literally. This is why you see many people trying to, and by the way, this is why New York City has the most unproductive apartment setup situation. You got apartments that are being redesigned and remodeled into like 3 bedrooms, like that was designed for 1 bedroom. Like, that's what's going on in New York City. That is what's going on in New York City. And this is why I was telling you guys that if you go into the ghetto of the housing projects, and which we did on this channel, on this YouTube channel, and I explained this, in every housing project, you might get a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, but guess how many people living in that 2 bedroom apartment? 6. And this is what YouTube does not want to provide an audience. If they want to educate an audience, they got to educate people they have to educate people that want to be educated by providing the education that makes sense. Now, I post on the community post about a channel, which I'm not trying to defamate on the channel. I just didn't understand how they monetize that channel, but didn't monetize my video, but they monetize this video, which is more graphic. It's like, what? The YouTube decisions over the last 15 years have been, I would say, troublesome. And I've been on YouTube for the last 17 years. It's been troublesome. And the one thing I never got to do on YouTube was establish a right sponsor. Because we had these MCNs in the past, which fucked us over. Remember that, YouTubers? These so-called MCNs? That's not a thing anymore. Get rid of those. I still have a brand that owes me money for doing, yeah, guys, if you haven't heard about that situation on YouTube, yeah, that was YouTube's also big problem. Allowing MCNs to do what they want and how they pay the creators. That was bullcrap back then. And this is why I'm like, oh yeah, I have this company owes me money, but they're never going to pay that money. They're never going to pay the other YouTubers either. So YouTube has been showing some inconsistencies when it comes down to content as of 2022. And it continues on because they wanted to transition into a corporate media channel. Yeah. They wanted to switch. I thought it was about the people, but it's not about the people anymore. But with that said, everyone, hope you enjoyed the Central Park early cloudy overcast day as I conversate with you guys about my history on YouTube. My history on YouTube, like I said in the beginning of this video, I used to never appear on camera. It's always me talking another language. And then people wanted me to talk more English. Then more people wanted me to talk more French. And then I was like, this is annoying. Even though my French is not that great. I can read it, I can understand it. It's like, yeah, it's not that good. And then everyone wanted me to stop speaking Japanese and then do English. Remember that, guys? Back in, when was that? What year was that? 2015. It was like, yo, Panda, can you do more English versions of your videos? So I started making 2 copies of the same video. One in English, one in Japanese. And then you guys was like, oh, and can you do more English? And I was like, guys, this is so stressful. So stressful. I got to do double the load of work for really nothing. So I had to make a decision. And that decision was, am I going to actually continue to make both English versions and Japanese versions? No. I need to make one version only, and that will be English for an entire community, because it seems like English is the primary English that everybody wants to learn. So just leave it at English. And then you guys would say, why don't you appear on camera? Let's see your face. That was a thing. Remember that? And then when I started putting on a face, I was like, oh, what happened to your teeth? It's like, just got in a car accident last year, man. I'm still healing. You guys started picking on me because of my denture, because of my car accident. This is why I didn't want to appear on YouTube. And I'm the one getting grief about my appearance. Listen, man, I was in a car accident. And now when I appear on camera, you guys like make fun of me. It's like, oh my goodness, you guys either want 2 things. You want to be pleased, and you want to make fun. And guys, I can't do that if I don't have a stable audience at that either. And that's the problem. I don't have a steady audience. I never have. I have one person that comes in and it disappears for like 6 months and then comes back. I got one person that visits every once in a while. He's like, oh, I've been here for a while. I've been here for so long. Oh, you got all this kind of accent, buddy. People driving like idiots in New York City. Oh my god. I'm sorry guys, but in New York City, you guys are really not good drivers. Not very good drivers. Especially you yellow cabbies. You guys like stop in the middle of the street. You literally take up 2 lanes. You guys, oh my, how you pass a driver's license test? So, I want to talk about driver's license tests really quickly, if you guys don't mind. Timeline 46 minutes. I'm sorry, 46 minutes. Okay, so when I was in Japan, I failed the driver's test 8 times before I actually finally got a driver's license in Japan. Second, even in Wisconsin, I failed that twice before I even got a license in Wisconsin. But I guarantee it, I swear to Dunky, on my Panda soul, on my daughter Nami soul, and Ayaka, my first wife, I guarantee on all 3 of their souls, if I come here and get a driver's license in New York, which I never had a driver's license in New York City, I guarantee you I will pass it the first time around. I don't even have to look at the booklet. I don't even have to look at the booklet. I swear to you. Oh my panda. Have you guys ever seen me drive before in my past videos? I'm crazy behind the wheel. Oh, I can do some donuts. No, I don't want to become a New Yorker. I don't. Because New York doesn't deserve me. That's the point. New York, you do not deserve me to be a part of your community. Some of you that live here that are good, like, you can be part of my Panda Nation, but the rest of you cannot. Because you don't deserve me. You do not deserve me to be part of your community, because you know what? Because I'm a person that has good faith in everyone, but not people have good faith in themselves to do the right thing. Like that gentleman that broke my wagon.
I also changed our reservation.
He didn't have good faith to give me his information so we could talk about negotiating how he's going to repair or fix my wagon. Guys, for 5 days, I was freaking literally fix it. This is why New York doesn't deserve me. You guys do stupid, unconsiderable, unethical, unchildish things. I say unchildish? Is that unchildish? No, you guys do childish things, not unchildish. You do childish things. It's like, you guys don't deserve me. I don't want to be a New Yorker. I'd rather be a Wisconsinner. I'm sorry guys, but someone already claimed me anyway. Wisconsin claimed me. I'm a Badger till I die. So let's keep that real. Go Wisconsin. If I had to choose a state, it would be Wisconsin and it'd be Madison. I'm a Badger. I always will be a Badger, even though I'm not from Wisconsin. I live there, I educate there, I work there, I play there, I have sex there, But you guys get what I'm trying to say to you, right? That like, I'm a Wisconsin. If I'm going to categorize myself, I'm a fucking Buck. I'm a Green Bay Packer, and I'm a goddamn lacrosse, and I'm a goddamn Badger. And my neighbor next door, Minnesota, is not to be trampled with. So, either way, friend. And we got another neighbor. It's called Chicago, the Bears. We chew you up. Come on, we would chew you up, New York. Come on, let's be real about that. Come on, let's be real. So yes, if I have to categorize myself, I'm a Badger. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania deserves you, Panda. Pittsburgh. Oh, see? I keep seeing Pittsburgh a lot lately. It's like someone's trying to bring me to Pittsburgh. I don't want to go to Pittsburgh. I don't want to go to Pittsburgh. I don't even know where I want to go. But like I said, I've been talking to some of my Need Upon Say friends about going back to Paris. Hanging out there for maybe a year again. Everyone's like, come. We got you, Panda. You see how nice people back home are? They're like, come on, Panda, we got you. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to find work, and I'm supposed to get the shit that I want to do. And that's the thing. I'm a dual holder. I just go back. And, yeah, it's a pain to establish. Here's the problem. It's a pain in the butt sometimes to establish some foundation. Say you left it. Here's the problem. When you leave the States for like 3 years and come back to want to work, it's really hard to find a job after. Like my friend from Turkey, he just got here like a month ago. But guess what? It took him 2 years just to try to get back here, just to try to find a job to accept him because he's Turkish. And that's why I'm waiting this long. So let me explain about this Turkish guy. So I already explained about this Turkish guy before, because he was the one that I helped in Wisconsin, where he was on a visa, and an employer for that visa canceled his visa because something happened. So he had no place to stay and no place to live. So I found him a place to stay and a place to live, right? And I told him, don't come to this shelter because this is a man's homeless American shelter. This is not a hostel, because he thought it was a hostel. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys in all my content about hostels. That you Americans perceive hostels as a shelter, but us Europeans or Asian Americans or Pacific Asians perceive hostels as hotels. You guys perceive it as a homeless shelter here. And this is why you guys don't have an open mind in America. I just proving my point again about having an open mind. But anyway, friends. So anyway, about the hostel. Big decision. Truck passed by. But as I was saying, so you guys get to what I'm trying to plot here, like about the hostels on my channel. I'm trying to let you guys know that it's not a homeless shelter. And that's what you guys perceive here in the States. But back to the story. So, anyway. You are becoming. But anyway, guys. I don't want to make this. Oh, I need to cut this short because I'm only trying to do our live streams. Only our live streams. Anyway, guys. I just decided to make a video this morning, even though I made one at 3 o'clock this morning. And there were people up at 2 o'clock in the morning, apparently. But then again, I know who's up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It ain't no American. Well, it is Americans. They partying at the bars and after hours. But, yeah. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to emphasize. Oh, yeah. Natural Museum is right down the block. Curious, but yeah, just wanted to just let you guys know what I've been up to this morning. I'm not doing anything. I really am exhausted from yesterday, so trying to find work, day work, and can't find it. It's weird. It's like no one wants to hire a photographer that's homeless anymore. That's so bizarre. Like, dude, you know I can do the work. Just pay me for the day of work. Come on, friend. It's not. This is why another thing that I despise about New York City. This is why I know about the workforce here. Like, people are really condescending about who they hired, and this is why I tried to tell you guys. Like, Yuki would tell you that too. Like, yeah, New York has that thing where they ask questions that are not even supposed to be asked. How can I explain it in a better way? Okay, let's say I'm honest to my interviewer, right? And he's like, "Oh wow, that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that." I'm like, what happened to the drop? What happened to that restaurant interview? Same thing. How they're being kind of discriminated a little bit because I was like being honest about my status. Like, listen, I'm houseless right now, and so I got more of my carry gear. But I used to wait. I used to be a sous chef in the restaurant. Yeah. You want a foreman? You want a manager? You want an assistant floor manager? Okay, fine. I could do that. That's easy. That's a piece of cake. No problem, right? The demons are up at 3 a.m. Well, the demons were up all night. They kept me up all night. So, yeah, I did not go to sleep. Well, I do that a lot. I don't go to sleep for like 2 nights in a row, and then I kind of like wait the third day, go into Central Park, and just lay in the grass and just relax. And yeah, that's what I did. And I know that's not healthy because I just came from a doctor that told me not to do that because my allergies are really getting worse and worse, and my asthma's, yeah, I need to work on that. But I need to work on a lot of things, friends. I really do. But I just wanted to tell you guys some YouTube stories. I wanted to emphasize more about why YouTube back in 2006 was the greatest of its all-time being on the web. Now it's just you gotta bow down and you gotta bow down and bow your head to YouTube. I'm not a slave. I'm a person. Yes, sir. Yes, YouTube, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, YouTube, ma'am. I listen to your guidelines. Guys, I'm just picking on YouTube because they know what they do is so unethical. They know it, but and so is your country, so is your corporate your companies. They know what they're taking from you. Pepsi knows. All these brands, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing by taking something from you because you guys made it what, mind you, we made YouTube the way it is today. Not these corporations. But with that said, everyone, what is the name of your old YouTube channel? You know it. It's PC Hardware Custom PC. Can I type it? I want to see if I can type. Oh, I cannot type. Wait, can I? I cannot type, but I can pick comments like, see, it's PC Hardware and Custom PC. It's a YouTube channel. Oh yeah, by the way, I was the first one with the Sony Xperia Z at that time. Back in, what was that, 2012? Yes, I was the first person in America with the Sony Xperia Z. I still have that video up there. If you find that channel with that video, then you know that's me. You know, what? I tested it in New York City. I tested it in Los Angeles. I tested it in San Diego. I tested it while we were in Portland. So if you see those videos, then you know you have the right video, or the right channel. So
I mean,
you also see me review keyboards for gamers, power supplies. Also, you'll probably see me do a little bit of software tweaking on my own software to modify a video card and a hyphen video card. As I said earlier in the video about using fusion cards, but I digress. You guys want to sponsor the channel? Why I keep saying sponsor the channel? You guys want to make the channel grow here? Please subscribe, like, and share. You want to financially support the channel? Links are down in the description below. There's a PayPal, cash.app, Venmo. It's your choice if you want to, but I'd rather you guys try to support by buying a print from my professional photography website, which is called ThePandaPhotographer, which the link is down in the description below, ladies and gentlemen. I have my own website. I have my own following. I have tons of social medias. I also have a Patreon. I also have, they call Venmo, which is a video platform, which I still have that to this day. So please, support the channel. It really does help. Good morning to you guys on a Tuesday on an overcast day in New York City. And we are on Central Park West on West 74th Street. And I'm kind of hungry now. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for listening. See ya.